There's something about the Fast and Furious series that audiences, particularly non-US audiences,
Israel, the highest record numbers in history. Argentina, there's a handful. Greece,
and especially Caribbean audiences,
Trinidad,
absolutely love. Whether it's a diverse cast, constant talk about
family,
the flashy cars, the sexy girls, the different exotic locales, or the way the series has evolved to stay relevant over the years, no one can exactly say for sure. But when the 8th film in your 16-year-old franchise takes the box office by storm and breaks $1 billion long before it was out of theaters, you know there's something there. So to celebrate its release on Blu-ray, which was like 3 weeks ago, I decided to go back and rewatch all of the movies starting from the first. So join me as I rank all 8 Fast and Furious movies, including Fate of the Furious. Now it's important to remember that this is just my opinion. If you disagree, feel free to leave angry comments in the comment section telling me how wrong I am. Your words cannot beat the power of alcohol. So, let's celebrate the movie franchise that went from surprise hit to almost dying to revitalizing itself so well that it's now one of the highest grossing film franchises in history, and also the closest thing we'll ever get to a proper Need for Speed movie. Shoot, go away you don't count. Number 8. Too Fast, Too Furious. Boo, you mad or what? Boo, 4 was the worst. Hear me out. Hear me out. Sure, the movie tries to go a different route and take the characters different places and has a banging soundtrack.
Too fast, too furious. I'm too fast for y'all, man.
But there's one particular reason why Too Fast, Too Furious is on the bottom of this list. Tyrese. They tried to replace Vin Diesel with Tyrese. Vin Diesel, Tyrese. Now I know, the character of Roman Pierce shows up as a member of the team in the later movies, and he does work there, but that's because he works as a side character. What you have to remember is that this movie came just 2 years after the first. Vin Diesel was off shooting XXX with Rob Cohen, the director of the first movie, and they decided to just continue making a sequel without him. And like other franchises that tried replacing Vin Diesel with a rapper, they learned that it just doesn't work. The problem with Tyrese here is that they didn't know whether to make him a badass or a jackass, so they tried doing both.
Alien infidel. ¿Qué pasa, Jota? Kiss my ass, putos.
All Vin Diesel had to do to be a badass is just stand there with his arms folded. He has presence.
You got a big thing coming when you push me around.
With Tyrese, it's all fronting and posturing, and combined with the cheesy dialogue, it just makes him look like a tryhard. Also, his chemistry with Paul Walker doesn't hold a candle to the genuine bromance Brian and Dom had in the first film. Combine all that with a plot that feels like an extended episode of Miami Vice, and not a good episode either. A bland, dumb, generic Corey Matthews looking ass drug peddling villain, even dumber cops, more cheesy dialogue,
Why must I chase the cat?
and only one great stunt in the entire movie. And you get the worst Fast and Furious movie in the entire franchise. That damn rat scene though.
Once the bucket gets hot enough, Detective, the rat is gonna want out. You see, you have nothing to worry about when he's screaming, Detective. It's when he goes quiet that it goes to work. What? Got something you want to say?
That shit was traumatizing. Number 7. Fast and Furious. Or Fast and Furious 4. You know, it really says something about the quality of a film when you only realize you've seen it before halfway through watching it a second time. That's how forgettably dull this movie is. And it really shouldn't have been like this. This is a film that reunited the two main characters from the first film.
Just like old times.
This was a film fans of the original were waiting on.
People are like, it must be nice getting back together. It's like a reunion. I'm like, yeah, it's like a high school reunion, actually.
But they seriously dropped the ball. Its struggle for an identity is blatantly obvious in the film. It doesn't know whether to be a street racing film or a murder mystery, and it awkwardly tries to be both. Fast & Furious actually reuses the plot of the second movie. Don't believe me? In both, Brian must reconnect with a friend with whom he has a sour relationship in order to infiltrate the ranks of a drug lord who uses racers to do his dirty work. But whereas the second film had moments of humor, this film does it with Dom making this face throughout the movie.
You got a big thing coming when you push me around!
Fast and Furious contains all of the cheesy dialogue you'd expect from a Fast and Furious movie.
Still put milk and cookies out for Santa Claus?
Without any of the levity or humor found in any of the other entries. It takes itself so seriously, like it's trying to say, oh, we're the new edgy Fast and Furious. Look, we took out the "thes" in our title. We're just Fast & Furious now. Look at all this emotion and dissent in the team. We don't need jokes.
Denied!
The only reason this movie is ranked higher than 2 is because it brings Dom and Brian back into the mix, and the rivalry between them feels natural to their established characters.
Still a buster.
Of course, Dom would be toting feelings and wouldn't trust Brian after the events of the first film. Of course, he'd get mad after finding out Brian was the reason Letty was involved with Braga in the first place and is partially responsible for her death.
Sorry, Tom! I'm sorry!
This movie had some really glaring errors in it too. How was Dom going to enter the race if he had killed David Park? In one scene, Giselle asked Dom for his number.
Cell phone number. The prints for campus. The number is for me.
But then later in the film, she says,
You know, when I gave you my number,
Brian's plan to catch Braga makes no sense. First he says,
Look, we could use the shipment to parade in front of the media, get a few $100 of heroin off the street, but Braga's just gonna send another shipment next week.
but when he's asked why Braga would show up to a hand-to-hand exchange, he just says,
He can't afford not to.
and they never explain why. If Braga could have another shipment in a week, why would he risk his entire operation for this one? And how could we forget Dom's Sherlock Holmes Batman powers of deduction? I half expected him to put on sunglasses and for the Who to start playing after he visits the old contaminated crime scene and pieces together Letty's murder.
It's already too late.
We don't get fooled again! Don't get fooled again! No, no!
So all in all, Fast & Furious is boring, predictable, has a stupid plot, is gloomy, and just not fun. And I like my Fast and Furious movies like Dom likes his woman.
20% angel, 80% devil.
But this movie is 100% boring. Number 6. Tokyo Drift. It's unclear exactly why Tokyo Drift is so drastically different to its predecessors. In one interview, Paul Walker mentions politics, studio stuff, and a regime change. But one thing's for sure, both Paul Walker and Vin Diesel were trying to establish careers outside of the Fast and Furious franchise, with Diesel focusing all of his efforts on the Riddick series of movies and other stuff.
And do the Peter Panda dance.
He only cameos in this movie to get the film rights for Chronicles of Riddick from Universal. So it fell to Universal to try to do a soft reboot of sorts and reinvigorate the series by setting up a cast that was as great as the original, a location that was more exciting than just the streets of Miami or LA, and a new type of street racing that would capture audiences. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? While the movie succeeds in moving the action to Tokyo and introducing drift racing, something that was around since the 70s in Japan but didn't see popularity with Western audiences until 2004, it's the cast that causes the movie to crash and burn. Meet our main character, Sean Boswell. Jesus Christ. That's his name? Sean Boswell? It's so boring. We're coming off 2 movies where we had names like Brian O'Connor, Dominic Toretto, Letty Ortiz, and Roman Pierce. And here we get Sean Boswell. Let's see here.
About now.
Okay. Sean lacks any charisma at all. His deep southern drawl makes him come across like a cliche redneck character, and he's just not interesting.
Tell me a little about your role.
My role? Well, I'm the lucky one that gets behind the wheel and just gets to drive.
And if he's supposed to be a teenager, why does he look older than his own dad? The story itself feels too much like a standard fish out of water scenario that we've seen a million times before. The reason why this isn't last on the list is because of the great drifting scenes. Even the girl in this movie would get all hot and bothered when she saw somebody drifting. Justin Lin took over as director here, fresh off his second feature film, but you see his penchant for creating well-shot dynamic action scenes from as early as Tokyo Drift. This film has one of my favorite stunts in the entire series, the scene where 3 cars drift through a crowded Tokyo street. They actually got Keiichi Tsuchiya, the real Drift King, to do many of the amazing drifting stunts, and the perfection in these scenes really show. This movie also gave us Han Solo, the constantly snacking character who got so much fan love that they retconned so much of the series to have him in other Fast and Furious films. Also, kudos to them for casting Bow Wow as a non-stereotypical rapper turned actor. He plays this nerdy kid who's into cars, but also sells electronics on the side to kids. And he actually gives an endearing performance as Sean's first new friend. You know, watching this movie made me think that I've seen this before somewhere. A teenager who has to move to a new place is challenged to a sport where he ends up losing badly, but works with a skilled Japanese mentor to improve his technique with unorthodox methods and the power of a montage. Ends up romantically involved with the love interest of a notorious bully who we later find out is only acting aggressively because he's under the thumb of a more powerful bully, leading to a dramatic climax where against all odds our main character beats the bully at his own sport, winning the affection of the now ex-girlfriend of the bully.
There's no wax on, wax off, or drifting. Let everybody doing it.
Holy shit! Tokyo Drift did a Karate Kid remake set in an East Asian country before the Karate Kid, starring Jaden Smith. Number 5, Fast and the Furious. The one that started it all. This movie is a love letter to street racing fans, wrapped up in a box that is beat for beat, Point Break with cars instead of surfing. Cop infiltrates gang of extreme sports enthusiasts who have a hobby of heisting, but cop accuses rival gang instead and falls for female with close ties to gang leader, and in the end lets the leader go.
They look the same.
And outside of some stilted acting,
Nah, see, that's one thing about me, Dom. You don't understand. I don't need handouts. I don't take handouts. I earn my way every step.
this movie is pretty fun. This was before Vin Diesel started to sound like he ate a truckload of gravel after smoking an assload of weed in every movie, and his performance comes across as very authentic. There's even an emotional scene where he talks about the death of his father and how it impacted him and forged his lifelong creed,
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
which is referenced heavily in later films. And that's weighty stuff for a street racing movie. This movie also has a moose for car enthusiasts. There's a lot of gearhead jargon.
See a cool air intake, it's got a nice fogger system and a T4 turbo dominant. You see an AIC controller, it has direct port nitrous injection.
Yeah, and a standalone fuel management system.
Scenes of customizing cars, tuning cars, fixing cars, and people buying car parts. Yes, there's a 2-minute scene of people just buying car parts.
What do you think about that?
Revisiting this movie in 2017 was like opening a time capsule of the early 2000s. Everyone looks so young, including Vin Diesel. Michelle Rodriguez looks 16. The music choices and aesthetic ooze that early 2000 vibe, where we were still shedding the look and feel of the late 1990s, and it gives you nostalgia galore. The Fast and the Furious is definitely part of a lost era.
Try Fat Burger from now on. You get yourself a double cheese with fries for $2.95, faggot.
You can't fucking use faggot. Gay is okay. Homosexual, maybe. And if you know the person, you might be able to call them queer. If they have a great sense of humor, but I don't.
But you know, one person who was in this movie and provided tracks for it always made me wonder why he never came back. Ja Rule. You hearing this awesomeness? Just kidding. No one missed you, Ja Rule. No one.
What's your problem, nigga? You didn't win.
Alright guys, that's it for part 1. Part 2, where we discuss numbers 4 through 1, is coming soon. It's just taking a little while to edit. These videos are a little bit different to the format that I usually do, but I really enjoy doing them. They just take a little longer to edit. So thank you for your patience. Make sure to whine on that subscribe button so you don't miss part 2 when it drops, and throw a little waist on the little bell in the corner next to the subscribe button so that as soon as the video drops you get a notification. Join the Rockin' Reviews notification squad. Alright, that's it for me. I'll see you at the cinema.